On to our developing story tonight. General Secretary of the United National Party, Minister Kabir Hashim, says that state and deputy ministers of the new government will be sworn in next Tuesday.
Parliament granted approval for the new government to consist of a maximum of 48 cabinet ministers, out of which 43 ministers were sworn in yesterday. 31 ministers were appointed from the United National Party, while 11 ministers were appointed from the United People's Freedom Alliance. It is reported that a further 4 members of the UPFA are to be sworn in as cabinet ministers, while a vacancy remains for a minister from the UNP.
I think there are 1 or 2 ministers who were not sworn in yesterday. For example, Malik Samar Vikrama was unable to take oaths yesterday. I believe that ministries will be allocated to those who were unable to attend the ceremony yesterday.
Meanwhile, 2 portfolios have been added to the cabinet this year. These include the ministries of National Dialogue, Social Empowerment, Digital Infrastructure, Primary Industries, Technology and Technological Education, and Megapolis Development. A maximum of 45 state and deputy ministers are yet to be sworn in.
I believe that the state and deputy ministers will be appointed on Tuesday.
The allocation of seats in Parliament will be done thereafter. At the inaugural sitting of Parliament, the Speaker announced that Parliament would officially recognise 6 political parties. Leader of the House, Minister Lakshman Kiriyala, stated that the necessary steps will be taken for this purpose.
The front row seats in Parliament will be allocated only for leaders from political parties that are recognized by Parliament. Accordingly, a front row seat will be allocated for the United People's Freedom Alliance. However, front row seats cannot be allocated for parties within the UPFA. Those seats are allocated only for recognized political parties. Thereafter, seats will be allocated based on seniority. This will be done following discussions between the Speaker, the Leader of the House and Opposition Leader.
Accordingly, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Mahajan Eksat Peramuna National Freedom Front, Pivituru Hela Urumaya, Sri Lanka Communist Party, Democratic Left Front, or Ceylon People's Congress, Ceylon Workers' Congress and other minor parties will not be considered as parties with leadership privileges. Parties that contest under an alliance and its leaders will also not receive party leadership privileges.
When contesting from an alliance, individuals are not considered alliance members. Parties are considered alliance members. For example, individuals are members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, but members of the United People's Freedom Alliance are political parties. Therefore, throughout history, when party leaders contest an election from an alliance and are elected to Parliament, it has been the tradition of the Speaker to recognize the party leaders as party leaders. However, breaking that tradition, the current Speaker has decided to recognize the alliance as a single party without recognizing the individual parties. The ulterior motive behind this decision is to restrict privileges for making special statements under Standing Order 23.
We also question whether the Pivituru Hela Urumaya has signed an agreement with the UPFA.
If a political party has been active for a period of 1 year, then the Election Commissioner will acknowledge it as an accepted political party. My party was formed in December 2014. There is still time to regard it as an accepted political party.
Venerable Dr. Dambara Amilathera states that by not allowing a party like the Pivituru Hela Urumaya, which is not recognized as a party belonging to the alliance or as a member to be seated in front row seats, is not regarded as deprivation of benefits.
There has been issues with regard to the allocation of seats in Parliament. One of the reasons is that prior to the appointment of the new Parliament, a wrong system which does not adhere to the law has been followed regarding the allocation of front row seats in Parliament. During the regime of Mahinda Rajapaksa, this was continuously violated and has thus become a norm. Parties such as the Pivituru Hela Urumaya, who should not be seated in the front row of Parliament, took seats in the front row. Individuals such as Udaya Gamampila have no right to be seated in those seats and should take back row seats in Parliament.